All right, welcome back to Nerds by Screenlight. This, in case you didn't or did not know, is actually episode 50.
What?
Episode 50 of Nerds by Screenlight. Overall episode from episode 1 to now has been 50 episodes of this podcast. We have reached a pinnacle. I don't know what you want to call it.
I wonder when I first came on.
I would have to look at that in my thingamabobber.
I feel like I've done 25 episodes.
Probably, at least. I mean, we'll tabulate it here at the end. So anyway, that's where we're at today. 50 episodes. And so the question of the day is, so most of us work either or go to school. What is one thing that you can't do during the school year that you absolutely do during the summertime? Summer break, summer, whatever you want to call it.
I'll go first.
Sure.
Hiking. Oh my gosh. If you put me in the mountains or by like a hidden waterfall, trees, especially pine trees, mountain streams, lakes, I'm a very happy girl. Okay. And I can't do it during the school year because we live too far away from everything. And I don't like hiking in the winter because it gets icy and snowy and slick, and I don't feel very safe, and I don't want to buy spiky shoes. So when summer hits, when June hits, and sometimes July, depending on the places, I'm like, oh, let's go hiking. Because even like on weekends, that's when everything is just full up and crazy. But if you go during the weekday, it's a lot better. Absolutely. So I am absolutely, my goal is to do it every week.
Okay. All right.
That's a good goal.
Phil?
Well, to comment on what Vicki said about waterfalls, I almost fell off a waterfall one time.
Oh.
Yeah, my brother saved my life.
Oh, okay.
He does that a lot.
Yeah, he saved her life
too. He saved my life too.
Okay. Regular superhero in the family, apparently.
Yeah. No, he seems like the kind of guy that's not paying attention to anything, but really he's
a lifesaver. He's
he's aware of the surroundings. But
okay.
What I would like to do during the summertime in general, which out of all the years Zoe and I have been together, we have yet to do, go to a beach.
Oh, okay.
I am a beach guy. She's a mountain girl.
Yeah.
And, well, we're ended up in Colorado. So.
Right.
Yeah.
There are a lot more mountains than beaches.
Yeah.
You have lakes.
I mean,
those are beaches, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
I want a palm tree.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Well, Texas isn't that far from here.
Yeah, that's probably
True.
your most feasible option.
Closest beach it's down there. Okay.
That would be warm.
It would be warm.
Instead of California, where the water would be cold.
Yeah.
And who wants to go to California anyway?
Not for a beach.
Yeah, to get to it, you got to go down a cliff.
Yeah, they're scary. They're scary.
That's Phil's guide to California. Don't go to the beach. You're going to have to go down a cliff. It's unsafe.
My brother will be there to save me this time.
Yeah.
Just take your brother and you'll be fine.
You need a savior, a superhero, Superman or Batman, or if you really have to slum it, Teen Titans, whatever.
Or wear parachutes on your back just in case.
Yeah. I would love to see Phil do a travel guide to California. No, don't go to the beaches. They're cold.
They are cold.
Our foster daughter's going to California in a couple of months.
Yeah, she went there last year. Yeah. All right, Zoe.
So, okay.
That got real dramatic.
What on earth?
Dun, 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 dun.
It's funny because, my last therapy session, she's like, so, what is your summer routine?
And you're like, what is that? I don't know.
And I was just like, honestly, I kind of revert back to being a teenager, so I just enjoy, waking up at 11 and having a slow morning and having breakfast.
Yeah.
And also playing video games because that's not something I can do really during the school year.
Yeah.
So Fallout 3, I've been hitting really, really, really hard.
Which we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we'll
today.
talk about that.
So, yeah.
We're going to talk about it today.
Oh, I'm going to be snitching.
Oh, don't say the bad stuff.
the less than.
But I had to, man. I got to save my dad, you know?
The choices you have to make in the Fallout universe. So mine is I don't really sleep in.
No, you never do. But you take naps.
Yeah, I do. That I will do during the summers. I will take.
It is the
naps.
difference. I sleep in, but I don't take naps. He doesn't sleep in, but he takes naps.
I'll take an hour nap or something. I'll also play like longer game sessions. Like
Yeah.
I love playing the more immersive, like longer, like Crusader Kings 3 is one of my favorite games. It's very much of a medieval kind of city builder, but also like very much of an RPG. And so it takes hours upon hours upon hours to really make progress in that game. And so I really enjoy playing that. So yeah, I'll do some long-term gaming. I'll also do like bike riding. As the summer is kicking off. But also like working out and doing like boxing and doing exercising and stuff like that, because I have the ability to do that. I have time to do that.
You also read a lot too.
Yes, I try and read. I didn't get as much reading.
Do like a
done.
book a day if no one stops you.
Yeah, I did. I kind of got started last summer, but I didn't really continue. So this summer is the reading summer. So
I feel you. I got 3 new books too that I need to read.
woo, that's exciting. Yay for reading. I'm a language arts teacher. I love me some reading. All right, when we come back, it's going to be Fallout 3. It's going to be my show that I've been watching. We're going to talk about other shows people have been watching. It's the 50th episode, so there's no real theme. It's just everywhere all at once.
We did not plan on this milestone.
May was a crazy month, so we're just catching up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're alive. We've crossed the finish line for school, and now we're back with you here on Nerds by Screenlight. My name is Aaron.
My name's Vicki.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Zoe.
And we'll be right back after this momentary moment.
Momentary moment.
I don't
Leave
know.
that in.
After these messages,
We'll be
we'll be right back.
Get nerdy with me. Talk nerdy to me. Get nerdy with me. All I really need for you to do is just please
I can sell.
talk to me. Talk nerdy to me.
All right, welcome back to Nerds by Screenlight. My name's Aaron.
My name's Vicki.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Zoe.
And so I guess we should start with Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, or what did you play?
Fallout 3.
Fallout 3. Okay, so Fallout 3. So for those of you who are listening along at home, we did the dive in the whole Fallout series. We talked about it. We wrestled with it. We figured out how we feel about it. It was a re-record of the original episode that turned into the Chipmunks, and we almost turned into the Chipmunks with this episode because we had to watch it.
Yeah,
to
I'm
make sure.
I'm staring at
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm overanalyzing it myself.
No attention has been paid to this computer more than on these days, on these Sundays.
What
when
is
we
happening
when we
with it?
record. I don't know. We just got to get some holy water and a priest, and I don't know.
I don't think water's a good idea
the
with
Pope's
electronics.
exorcist. We got to call him in. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, so Zoe's
can't.
there it is. I can't. There it is. I was waiting for it. I was wondering what we were at on the
Where
level.
are we at?
Where's the feelings? So I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So let's talk about Fallout 3. It's been a long time since I played Fallout 3.
Yeah, I've been relearning a lot. Not
Okay.
gonna lie.
Talk us through how has this been for you, Zoe?
Horrible.
Okay.
Well, and great.
Okay.
Just
How about I point out some things and you just explain yourself?
whatever. Fine.
This is an intervention, apparently.
He got really mad at something I did.
Yeah, we'll get to
It's
that.
the only bad thing I've ever done in there.
You've tried to do way worse.
I did
Okay,
it. It didn't work.
So,
Such a
This is
foreboding
like-
old exchange here.
this is like your first time like actually playing the game, like actually
Like full
doing
through, yes.
doing the story and completing the missions instead of just wandering around.
Yes.
First mistake she does.
Uh-huh.
Butch's mom.
Uh-huh.
She's like, "Yeah, I'll go save you."
Uh-huh.
What happened to Butch's mom?
She's dead.
Why is Butch's mom dead?
Because she forgot to go save her.
So then I had to go tell him that she died.
Yeah. So
But-
there's that.
But, okay, mind you, during this,
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to save my own life because my dad just left the vault and everyone's freaking out trying to find me. And I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah, so she,
You were distracted.
Yes. And he's like, help me. Also, that guy was a real jerk to me. He was a bully.
yeah. Well, in that moment, he flips. He'll become nice and he'll give you his jacket if you would have helped him. But you know,
I need bottle
That
caps.
sounds like more
I
like
need
he's
ammo.
making a move to me.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? When a guy gives you his jacket, he's making a move. Oh, you're cold. Here you go.
Well, and it's already weird because you literally start off as a baby and then you grow up in the vault. It's weird.
yeah.
Okay.
So she leaves, and of course, you know your first town after the vault is Megaton
Yeah.
with the big atom bomb in it.
Right.
Oh, I have a nerdy
This-
question. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. What vault? I watched this little. I found this thing on YouTube that went through like a quick synopsis of all the vaults. I'm
101,
curious.
right?
I think it is
Fallout 3, 101.
I think yeah.
Yes, and then I've gone to so many after that I'm like,
They're messed up. You guys said they were messed up, but like, watching them, as I was just curious which one.
well,
Sorry,
there's
go ahead, Phil.
worse things.
So the first town you get to after Vault 101 is Megaton.
Yeah.
And it's like built out of like scrap planes and all this stuff. And there's a bomb in the middle of it, an A bomb.
Yeah.
And you can choose to deactivate it, or you can just save it for later. And you can activate it and do the fun thing and blow up the whole town.
Oh, he
Save it
thinks
for
that's the fun
later?
thing.
That is the fun thing. At least leave it an option. Don't make it the first thing you do is to deactivate the bomb.
Look, man, the little sheriff mayor guy was like, help us out. And I was like, cool, I need money. Give me money and I'll help you out.
So did you ever watch Parks and Rec?
Yes, I love that shit.
Give me money. Give
Yes.
me money. That's where my mind went. Is the two awful children of Henry Winkler.
Yes.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. I'm just like, I want to clobber both of you in the head. But I don't know who would help. I think it would
No.
make it worse.
So I deactivated
Yeah,
the
she-
atomic bomb.
So that was a good thing, I guess.
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
get a lot of
Morally good.
praise from the town for that, actually.
Morally good.
Yeah.
She's so like the other day she's like 10 hours in and she's doing quests and stuff, and I go in there and I check and she's still wearing the first raider armor she picked up. The condition has dropped all the way down to 0. And I'm
She
like,
just shrugged like it's nothing.
you're dying because you have no armor. Like, go get you some armor. So like I helped her out and we now got her like some recon
Ooh,
armor,
okay.
so pretty
All right.
good.
All right.
And I'm like, make sure you repair this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, before that, she wanted to kill Moira.
What?
The lady at
She
the
made me
beginning,
mad.
the lady at the beginning that asked you to help her make her book, Wasteland Survival Guide.
Yeah.
She's like, I almost killed her.
That lady is a crock.
Explain. Because they're both horrified and I
So
had no
she-
context for this.
She talks like Lucy from the show.
Okay.
She's like all real nice and kind, like, oh hi, I just need you to go get radiated so I could test out this new experiment.
Oh yeah.
Like, she wants me to go die, basically, for her.
Yeah, I'm with you on this.
Like, no.
Okay, so now I'm picturing in my head this valley girl like, so I was wondering if you could like, I don't know, go get radiated so like I could update my book. Is this what
Yeah,
we're doing?
that's what it feels
exactly.
like.
I would be mad too.
But here's the
You're like,
thing,
come on, be honest.
she's one of the most useful characters in
Okay.
in the game.
Okay.
You
She-
can buy stuff from her.
She's a store. She can repair your stuff.
Ooh.
She can heal you, I think, or if not, like the doctor's like right near her.
He's
Okay.
below her.
But yeah, so like, no, don't kill Moira. She might be annoying.
Yeah, but you were all like, well, if you didn't,
I'm like, yeah, if you really wanted to kill her,
You
don't
could've blown her up.
deactivate the bomb. Like,
And so he's like, my master plan has been foiled.
Yes.
I wish we
must
could
die.
have a camera just to see the facial expressions going on here.
Well, just to be honest, when I find a new trader, she's gone.
oh my god.
Like,
Wow.
I'm done with her. And the little guy that stands in the corner, like, I see you. I'm like, well, I see you too. Like, what do you?
He's like the bouncer or something. Of his,
Basically, yeah.
he's like,
Yeah,
like
he's-
no one will mess with you.
So if you're like looking at the stuff that
I
you
got
could
my
steal,
eye on you.
he's like, I see you, and I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything. He's standing here.
Yeah, so
Zoe takes things really personal, really
I
fast. in the
do.
wasteland.
It is an issue.
She's like, I'm gonna shank you if you keep looking at me.
Yes.
Like this is not prison rules, but this is prison rules.
He gives me the stank eye.
Yeah, and I'm gonna stank you with a shank. That's what's gonna happen.
Because there's a function in the game where you can wait a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So, and within 5 days, Moira gets more things. So I'll just sit there and wait for 5 days or whatever. And every time I come back from it, the guy's like, I see you. And I'm like, well, I see you too.
I've been here for 5 days, standing in this exact spot. Like,
What I love
Walk
about
right
this,
me.
And he's just like, I'm not blinking. I'm not blinking.
what I love about this is that Zoe is getting mad at an NPC.
Yes!
Who has limited dialogue trees and limited dialogue options.
Which
And
that's another thing that makes
Aaron,
me
I've
angry.
seen you get mad at NPCs a lot.
but not like this
Okay,
plotting
Larry
their
and Super
doom.
Mario,
Okay,
you and just
so we were playing. We got a Switch.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome. And we were playing Mario Kart Ultimate 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
And we played teams. And so we had Larry. I don't know who Larry is in the Mario verse, but he's apparently a character.
yeah, he's one of Bowser's kids.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great. Grand. Good to know. Well, he's an idiot. So
Yeah.
he
there was a lot of Larry.
Larry would like he was on our team, and so we all had like first, second, and third place. And so Larry was dropping like bombs and bananas behind onto us.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, And in my head, I'm like, yes, it's an NPC. It's programmed to get rid of those things. It's programmed to do this. But this is dumb programming. Nintendo, do better. Because it became an issue because he became a problem. He would hit us out of first or second place, and then he would... Yeah, Larry is still not my friend. So I feel that.
So, like, yeah, see, you're not the only one that gets mad at NPCs.
But I didn't attack Larry.
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I'm just planning it.
She has enslaved children.
Okay.
Okay,
Explain
look.
yourself.
Okay, look.
Okay, look.
No, there's a lot. There's a lot.
She is a slave trader in
No.
Fallout 3.
I enslaved 3 people that I had to enslave.
You didn't have
One
to.
was a child, and I didn't know until I found them. Okay.
She tried to enslave another child.
Oh, yeah, that one was kind of funny. I only did that because you were like, don't do it, don't do it. So I'm like, I'm going to do it.
Poke the bear.
The anti-peer pressure.
But it didn't work. He just ran away from me, and he was scared.
Well, he was vital to a side quest.
Okay.
No, it's vital to my main mission.
Okay, why were you enslaving children?
Spoilers on all this.
On a
So the whole main
decade-old
mission is to find your father, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like Lucy.
Yeah.
Well, find Dad, and then Dad dies because of the Enclave.
Oh.
And so I have to take over kind of his position or whatever, and I have to find this gecko in Vault 87.
Okay.
And to
Which
get
is some device. I forget what it does. It's like a
it's
water.
for the purified water,
Yeah.
whatever. And to get to that vault, I have to go through a town that is mayored by these little tiny kids who are very mean. And
They are little jerks.
Okay.
hold on, I'm trying to remember what he wanted me to, because it gets really complicated. He wanted me to go save children that they are enslaving.
Yes.
And I know
But
this sounds
instead-
horrible, but I have to go enslave children so that I can save the enslaved children.
There's always another
Because I
way.
need 2,000 monies, caps.
Yeah.
And right now I think I'm at 1,300. I still haven't gotten 2,000 caps. But once I do, I will be saving all the children.
Okay.
So
She became an addict.
I did. And that was not on purpose.
I told her, I was like, don't. This is safe. His stim packs are safe to take.
Yeah.
Radaway is safe to take.
Yeah.
Rad X is safe to take. Don't take anything else.
Yeah.
What are they, the Mentas?
Mentats. which
See,
is-
and I thought it was going to help my health. And I took a whole bunch.
Oh,
and then
no.
it's like, you're addicted. But then I went to the doctor and got it fixed.
Okay. You're
But the doctor was hilarious because they were like, oh, yeah, I can tell you're an addict just by your face. And I'm like,
what happened to my
okay,
face?
I don't know.
What's wrong with my face now? Oh, Lord.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
I will say this. She has gotten further in the main story than I ever have.
Okay.
I get lost side questing the
Side
whole
quest,
time.
Yeah.
Well, I have them going on. Well, we didn't even talk about the cannibals.
Oh, the cannibals, eh?
Oh, yeah. The first time she found him in flesh, she's like, eat it. I need health. I'm like, no, do not do that.
Isn't that one where you go into the cannibal's house, or is that New Vegas?
Yeah, you go into their whole layer, like where all of them are.
Okay.
And I had to go save one from becoming one.
There are cannibals in New Vegas, too, but they're like white glove society.
Oh, okay.
They're like in an old hotel or something, and they all
okay.
wear masks.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fallout is a weird universe to talk about on a with people who don't understand. Like if you're listening,
No
to this,
kidding.
if you're listening to this and you're
If
like,
you're just someone who's watched the show, I'm like,
yeah, there are a lot of varying choices
Yeah.
within each Fallout game, especially Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and then Fallout 4. Fallout 76 I haven't played as much. I'm sure there are choices in the game, but they aren't as single player based as the other two are. And so it definitely it makes you question your humanity every so often because you're like, I'm doing some crazy stuff right now,
Yeah.
and I don't believe that this is appropriate. But so I've had this conversation with people over the years. And this is to address anybody who's out there who's listening to this and whose eyes have literally bugged out of your head going, what? There is no connection to anything that you do in a video game, be it violent, morally questionable, whatever. There's no connection between any of that and you doing anything in real life that is connected. I say this because I was a child when a lot of when Columbine occurred and there was a lot of people going, oh, video games, these violent video games, they're the problem. No, they're not.
They're doing that again too.
Yeah.
Some people are trying to sue Call of Duty over Uvalde.
Yeah, no, that's dumb.
Yeah.
There's no reason. There's been no connection. Real world. The studies have not shown it. There's been no connection between that, because here's the reality: the millions of players who play varying online MMORPGs, MMOs, and the battle royale games and Call of Duty, and the millions of people who have played every single Call of Duty game since it came out, since 20 years ago. If you take
More than that, yeah.
if you take that and you try and extrapolate, okay, well, if video games are the problem, if video games are doing this, we would have the situation in the United States, in the world, would be insane. There would be no peace. There would be no law. Like, it would be just absolute chaos.
Totally.
If what people say is true about what video game violence does to people. The thing about video games, and especially video games that are somewhat morally questionable at times, is they allow you to separate the actual moral decisions you make and imagine something creative and something different in how you would make those choices. You take on an avatar, you take on a character that you design and you craft, and that becomes you. And while you are able to recognize that it is not you who is committing these things or doing these things, you are able to kind of experience a separation from the life you live, and experience, well, what if I was in the midst of a post-apocalyptic wasteland like Fallout? And I guarantee you, every single person who's ever said video games are a problem, if you ended up in a post-apocalyptic wasteland like Fallout, you would be doing morally ambiguous, and not even just morally ambiguous, morally awful things to survive. Mm-hmm. If you think about, like, so if you're on any kind of medication, be it for mental health, like physical health, whatever, those meds are gone. You're dead, or you have to find a new way to keep your medical conditions under control. And so that is number one. Well, that's the first thing to go. And so that's terrifying to think about. But that's, again, people are more likely to be like, oh, well, that's a violent video game scene I just saw. That's the problem. It's like, no, that's not the problem. The problem is that we're not working with our kids who have mental health issues, who have these issues where they are given towards acting out of violence and all that kind of stuff. And
right.
Zoe, you can speak more to this a little bit, obviously, in Counselor's Corner, but it's not the video game and the violence that they view is not the issue. It's what happens after, like what they've got going on in them.
Totally. And I mean, the whole time you were saying that, I was just like, I would rather them be taking their anger out on a video game versus like a real person.
Right.
Or
well, and it allows, like, there's like Vicki has witnessed this, where I've had a rough day at work, or I'm having a long week, and I need to go play a video game, and I need to go blow stuff up.
And I'm like, kill a lot of zombies. There you go.
I need to go take over and do some damage and blow some stuff up, and go crazy and do things that I normally wouldn't do, because I just need to release.
You know what's crazy? And maybe this is just a personal thing for me, but like, if I'm like just stressed out, I'll do one of the craziest things you'll probably ever heard of. I will play Grand Theft Auto, and I will drive by to the actual traffic laws.
I love it. I do love that.
I'll just have the radio on, cruising.
Yep. That's awesome. I love it. Well, and so that's like, I have not played. I've played Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming up next.
Yeah.
I have not gone back and played Grand Theft Auto 5 in years. I don't have the financial ability to play the online portion, because it's expensive to even.
I don't play it.
Yeah,
I don't play the online.
I haven't played. So I did play Grand Theft Auto, and it is a fantastic video game. It's a crazy thing. But I'm like you, like if I need to go blow stuff up, I'll go play like a shooter.
Yeah.
But more often than not, what I'll go play is my city builder. I'll go play my
Yeah.
Sim City, the soundtrack is like,
and just being able to create and build stuff. Games like that are what I enjoy. I love being able to build something. Or if I'm writing, I'm creating a world, I'm creating a scene, whatever.
And for me, being like a non-gamer, I have other outlets. One is obviously part of my job is music, and I've told this to my kids. I'm like, if you're mad, here's some drumsticks. Hit the floor. Don't break them. And they look at me like, really? And I'm like, yeah, go for it. So like, just getting me like a piano if I'm having a rough day, and I can just like bang on it.
All the minor keys.
But I'll like play like a good song that I'll feel so much better. Yeah. Or Aaron knows this about me. This is one of the reasons I go to the gym, is like going for a run. Does wonders for me if I'm in a bad mood.
So we dodged into counselor and self-care corner for a hot minute
Yeah,
there,
we
which I
did.
think is important because it is the summer.
Yes.
And a lot of folks, be school, student, or even still working. Like a lot of people obviously work day jobs and they don't get summer vacation. There's a lot to be said for. And Zoe, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but there it feels like sometimes there is that almost toxic self-care kind of mantra where it's like self-care. I'm just like, okay, shut up about the self-care. I can only handle 15 messages about self-care in a day. You give me 55. I'm going to start yelling.
Well, honestly, and even with my clients, I just go like, what is one thing you can do this week?
Yeah.
Like just one thing
Yeah.
for the whole week.
Yeah.
That is something for you. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have to cost money. You don't got to go
Right.
spend a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Go on a walk.
Yeah.
You know, write in your journal, write a song,
Yeah.
play on the piano.
Take a bubble bath.
Take
Yeah.
a bubble bath.
Yep. Or as the meme world has taken, go touch grass.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious how that works. Like you actually, like when you get out and you like put your phone away and you kind of just go, "Oh, the real world is really nice."
Yeah.
I remember like being an angsty teenager and my mom looking at me like just go in the woods.
Yeah.
Like,
Get outside, get some fresh air.
Yeah. Go
Yeah.
look.
Which I think we did a lot of when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
A lot of walking.
So I think it's interesting. So we're taking a larger rabbit trail right now, but just go with this audience, I guess. Is what you have no choice. You're along for the ride. But I think we're old enough. Like I would go down and hang out at the park, or we would go climb, like jump to the creek. Like we would go do stuff outside. That
Yeah.
was the age before cell phones. Like that was before we were tied to these things. Like we would play video games in our friends' houses on computers and stuff like that. But there was never this tether that kept us down and looking away from all the wonders and beauties of the world. And I think that is one of the biggest dangers right now for our student population and our young adult population is that they don't know how to put these down. They don't know how to separate themselves from it. During the school day, my phone is usually up in the holding case for the entire day. And I have a little app on my computer that I can check and see, am I getting any messages? But I'm not religiously checking in and whatever. I'm just like, okay, I'm getting an email. There it is. But I am able to separate myself. But there's not a lot of separation right now for a lot of people with the power that these phones have and what we use them for. And so I think there's something to be said for just go out and touch grass. Like,
Literally.
and that's coming from a podcast that is all about sitting in front of a screen.
right, yeah. It's in our name, Nerds by
But that doesn't mean
Screenlight.
it's healthy to
Yeah,
be in
yeah.
front of a screen all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, get them blue light glasses. Then it's healthy. Just kidding.
Zoe got some.
I did just get some.
Oh.
But I really get really bad headaches.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. You get. In all seriousness, you do have to like make sure you're protecting your eyes because
That is also self-care.
Yeah, you only get 2 of them, and they don't usually do eye transplants.
Yes.
Okay, so have we fully explored the?
I think
Fallout
he's
3?
done.
That's about where she's at now.
I guess
so she's trying to
For you as this is the first time you've played it.
Like actually
Played it
doing the
seriously.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how has that? What are your highs? Like what are your like? Whoa, this is amazing. What are your like? Oh man, this game hasn't aged well.
I feel like we've heard some of the lows.
Yeah.
well, just like
definitely.
even like how the game plays and how you interact. with
It is a little glitchy, I'm not gonna lie. Way
Yeah.
more glitchier than I remember.
Yeah.
Like how sometimes you can get over rocks, sometimes you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
get
yeah,
over
yeah.
rocks, so I just hit the jump button a lot.
her first thing was like, I can't sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes me mad. I want to be able to run.
Good old
Yeah.
Good old Bethesda
Someone's
gang.
chasing you.
Well, and they can go really fast.
Of course
The
they can.
super mutants
Yeah,
and
of course. Yeah.
the vicious dogs and the what are they? The scorpion things.
yeah,
oh
yeah.
my god. I hate the animals. All the animals can just
Yeah, so it's crazy because like I would come like I've helped her out very little
Yeah.
through her playthrough.
Yeah.
Only like when she really needs it. And most of the time, what do I tell you? I'm like, look up a video.
Yeah.
which made
And
me
then
very
she's like,
mad in the beginning.
she's like, I got this 10-year-old telling me.
yeah, that made me I felt dumb.
But so like I would help her out like very little.
Yeah.
But 10-year-olds don't have jobs.
That's
You
true, that's true.
Let's look at it that way.
And then I would go back and I'm like, you know what? I kind of miss old Bethesda. So I started playing Skyrim.
Oh,
And
yes.
I'm like, oh, this is so much better. As I'm spamming the jump button all the way up a mountain.
Aaron started playing Witcher the other day, and I was like, I don't even think he told me. And I was like, what? Witcher? Yeah, why didn't you tell me?
So
I'm coming.
We've talked about Skyrim on this podcast. It is an absolute joy
it's a
to
banger.
play. It is.
That'll be
there-
next.
So what is fascinating to me is you look at the arc of Bethesda, right? You look at the Fallout series, and you look at the Skyrim, and you look at what greatness they've created. And then in the last couple of years, you've had Fallout 76, you've had Starfield, and that's been it. Like, it has been...
They've done really well with Doom.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, but we haven't had a new Doom game in a couple of years.
They're coming out with a new one.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's called Doom Dark Ages or Old Ages or something like that. And it's
Okay.
going to be like medieval themed.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay, there's hope then. But I think the issue is like the old Bethesda had heart.
Yeah, their
had-
core
It
Bethesda,
had
yeah.
such a great and it's like really cool stories, and you wanted to keep playing. You wanted to keep going. You wanted to uncover the next thing. You wanted to figure out what was the next side quest or what was the next part or what was around that corner. And now, like Starfield, I think I went back and played a little of it with the new update, and I was just like, no.
Are you going to play when they come out with like the expansion, like where they add new content? I forget what it's called, like Star Forge or something.
Star punch in my face. I think it's hard for me. Like, it's hard because, like, so with Cyberpunk 2077, right? Like, it's come a long way. It's improved.
Yeah.
I actually would go back and play it, and I never picked up the DLC, so I pick up the DLC and play it again. I just like. It's so consistent with game studios these days, where they churn out these games and they're crap. They're terrible. They're not great. They are shockingly buggy. And so yeah, I don't know if I'll go back to Starfield, even with the DLC, because it's like, as much as there is the Bethesda jank, like this, like Starfield wasn't just Bethesda jank. This was like, you didn't put out a good game. You were very much high on your own supply, thinking, oh, they're going to love all the details we put into all the objects that we built for every scene and everything you can collect. And I'm like, I don't care about the collecting. I care about a conscious, functional, lived-in story that makes me want to keep going.
Yeah, they shot for the stars. No pun intended. And missed.
I don't know if they even shot for the stars. They're just like, we're going that way. Woo!
I mean, Todd Howard being Todd Howard just made all these
It
claims.
just works. It just works. 2 times, 20 times the detail, 20 times the...
Oh, God, that takes me back to it was an old Call of Duty game. I forget what it was. And he's like, we have fish. And they move and react to you when you're in the...
Well,
I would hope so.
yeah, they're fish.
How it's supposed to be. Anyway, it's the state of games is not any much better right now.
Oh, no.
Oh,
There's a lot good happening.
okay.
So
We'll talk about that first.
there's this game that just came out called X Defiant.
Okay.
Free to play.
Okay.
You do not have to give any money to
Okay.
it. You can earn all the important stuff for free.
Okay.
Former Call of Duty dev, believe it
Okay.
or not.
Okay.
And he's the main dev is the dude that is on the cover of Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, okay.
So that iconic
Yeah.
cover art, that's the guy that made this game.
Okay.
He is very, very, very transparent on Twitter.
Yeah.
Communicates everything with the community.
Yeah.
That game is amazing. And it takes place like in the Ubisoft universe.
Okay. Speaking of Ubisoft, continue.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have mentioned it.
You brought it up.
But yeah, that's a good
Okay. What is this game called again?
X Defiant.
X Defiant. Okay.
And it is a arena shooter.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like if you want to bless you. If you want to turn your brain off for a couple hours and just shoot stuff, there you go.
Okay.
Also, another big plus, there's no skill-based matchmaking.
Oh, okay.
So you can go in, you're as good as you actually are.
Okay.
So if you're one of these people online that like think you're good at first-person shooter games, play X Defiant, and I will roll you.
Oh, okay.
So
That's awesome.
there's been some other good stuff come out. Hellblade Sonus 2 came out.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's beautiful, but it is basically an interactive movie.
Yeah, I've been hearing and seeing a lot of that kind of complaints about what is this game, like what is going on here.
Yeah. But I mean, it's
beautiful. It looks gorgeous.
It's beautiful, and the combat is awesome.
Right.
People are like begging for them to like add like an arena mode where that's all they do is just
Yeah.
fight mobs
Yeah.
and if I could think of some other good stuff, but yeah, X Defiant, check it out. Like,
Okay. So now that we've invoked Ubisoft and we've invited them into the room, not really, they barged in the back door and snuck in without our permission, and we're now currently asking them to leave and trespass them. So the announcement for the new Assassin's Creed game came out, and it's based in, I believe, medieval Japanese, all that good stuff.
Feudal Japan.
Feudal Japan. And what was fascinating was people...
All the crybabies on Twitter.
Well, people took a dump on it, and what was interesting is the feedback was, well, somebody already made this game. It's called The Ghost of Tsushima, and that game is beautiful. I have not played it, but I've watched a friend play it, and I've looked at it. I'm like, this is an amazing game. Why would you need like? Ubisoft has not been great the last couple of years. They've been well documented both on this and the County Gamers about how like really just rough and stupid they are. But like making an Assassin's Creed game that's already really been made, like what? You couldn't pick anything else? You couldn't figure anything else out?
I feel like Assassin's Creed has lost its identity.
Yeah, it has. Well, Valkyrie was a disaster.
Assassin's Creed Mirage was pretty good. It went back to...
I heard good things. I need to check that out, actually.
Yeah, it feels more like the old school Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
And, I mean, they went back to Baghdad for it. So, I mean...
Well, and then there's Skull and Bones, which was then a terrible...
Sea of Thieves ripoff, right? Which it was all about your ship and not your character.
Right, yeah. There was no... It was like, we've already got... Like Sea of Thieves, we've already got Black Flag, Assassin's Creed. Why couldn't you have just done that, Ubisoft?
Yeah.
Ubisoft can't do anything right because they just don't know what they don't know what we want, despite the fact that people have been telling them for years. This is what we want as a gaming audience. Give it to us, please. We'll buy it. And they're like, okay, here's this. I'm like, that wasn't what we asked for. That's not even close to what we wanted. What is wrong with you? So I don't know. I'm not excited about the Assassin's Creed, the next game, because it just why are they gonna have that?
Yeah, at least your complaints are valid. All the stuff on Twitter complaining is just garbage.
As is most things on Twitter, now known as X.com, formerly Twitter.
Aaron.
Yes.
You bring that up a lot.
What?
Your deep dislike of Twitter, but now being called X and stuff.
I think
Elon put out a tweet like last week or something. He's like, which name is better? Be honest, Twitter or X? And going back to Mark Rubin, the dude that we were just talking about in X Defiant, he just comments, he goes, it's Twitter.
Yeah. Well, it's like we've known Twitter for so many years. It's become part of the cultural nomenclature. All right, I'm going to talk about a show that I've been watching. But Vicki, did you have a show you want to watch, or something you want to talk about?
Well,
talk about
I mean,
shows.
because I haven't. Well, I went back and I rewatched Fallout just to see. Okay, second time around, like catching those details, seeing if my opinions about anything has really changed, and mostly it hasn't. But I kind of noticed I didn't notice the first time around that Cooper's wife is called Barb, but she's Betty in the vault.
Yeah.
And and so the part of me is kind of doubting. I'm like, is this the same person? I thought it was the same person. So now I'm questioning that. But mostly my opinions of it haven't really changed. I'm a Disney girl, so I just started watching Turning Red. And I had been warned by somebody, I'm like, don't show this to elementary kids. Yeah. It is not appropriate, and I don't think it's appropriate. It's appropriate for like a preteen girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's about like puberty.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen trailers for it, but I did not.
Is it on Disney Plus?
It is on Disney Plus. So you kind of see it at first, and like it seems sweet and innocent, and then she starts drawing pictures of herself being held by this heartthrob, and doesn't have a shirt on, and you see his 6-pack of abs, and you don't want to be showing that to elementary kids.
Yeah.
And it keeps going from there, like.
Okay.
So, but I'm into it. It just I wouldn't show it to elementary kids.
Okay. All right, I have 2 shows that I want to talk about. Zoe or Phil, do you have a show you want to mention or dig into before I start?
Oh, Aaron's going to go on a rant. I'm excited.
It's almost time for rants with Aaron, everybody.
Yeah. I've been going back to like my comfy shows.
Okay.
So, and there's one episode in particular I want to talk about. Zoe's going to roll her eyes because I talk about it all the time because I think it's amazing.
She's already rolling her eyes.
He just told me again last night, and I'm like, I know this.
So, How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
That is
Terrible finale.
okay. Let's talk about this first.
It is a terrible finale.
Why do most sitcoms have a terrible either last episode or last season? Scrubs would have been amazing without that last season, or if they would have just separated and made it its own entire show.
They just get tired of they lose creativity, or is it just like the last season, like they meant to be renewed and they didn't? So
that 70s show, Eric Foreman, the main character, isn't even in it
Yeah.
for the last season.
but honestly, The Mentalist, like that last season is terrible, but the one before is.
I think what we know, like there are shows like MASH, some of the old school shows had complete series finales. Like MASH, I think still retains or has either recently been dethroned or continues to be the most watched series finale in history.
Wow.
Over half the country watched the MASH series finale.
And you had to be there on your couch at a certain time to watch it.
Yep. There was no TiVo. It was you got to watch it or you didn't.
Yeah.
I think this whole like season finales or shows that don't handle it well or they kind of just go south, it's a very recent kind of situation. Because like Seinfeld had a planned series finale. Like certain shows in the 90s, Friends, they had a planned finale.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cheers had a planned finale. A lot of like the shows that we think of as high level shows did have, and I think it's a recent, I'd say in the last 10, 15 years where shows have either been canceled too early or they didn't get extended, so they had to quickly scramble together to do a series finale. What is the show you're talking about?
So I wanted to talk about an episode in particular of How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
I think 90% of the show is brilliant.
Yeah.
There's I forget what season exactly it is, but it's the one where Marshall's dad dies.
Okay.
They did something in that episode that they did not do in any of the other episodes.
Okay.
So they left like little Easter eggs through the whole episode. Like you'll just see numbers, random numbers.
Yeah.
And we talked about it like I think last episode that we did where I'm like, if I see random numbers keep popping it up, I'm gonna look up what that is.
Yeah.
So I looked it up one day and come to find out like it's a countdown. It starts at like I forget whatever, but it counts it down all the way down to 0. And whenever it hits 0, that's when Marshall walks out of the bar, talks to his wife Lily, and Lily's like, "Your dad died." And Marshall, the actor himself, did not know that was what the line was going to be. So his reaction, like how devastated he was, that was all real.
Oh, jeez.
And it just blows my mind. I did not expect that from like, like an afternoon sitcom that you just turn on just to melt your brain a little. Yeah. And I love How I Met Your Mother. Neil Patrick Harris.
This is the millionth time we've rewatched
This is the second time I've rewatched it because blame yourself. I've never watched How I Met Your Mother until you're like, you need to watch it.
She's hitting her head on the microphone.
I want to see the new How I Met Your Father with freaking Hilary Duff.
Yeah.
I've heard it's okay.
The first season was good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
So to kind of, and I'll talk about my other shows here in a second, but the How I Met Your Mother finale is an absolute travesty.
I'm like, why did you do that? But it also makes sense because
no, it doesn't.
Well, he's talking to his kids the whole time, and I'm like, why are you telling them How I Met Your Mother? Where is their mother? Like, why isn't she doing it?
So this is the thing. Like, I know in their heads they're like, well, we gotta have a bittersweet ending. We gotta man to man to man. It's like, no. Again, it's that whole like getting high off your own supply. Like you are not all that in a bag of chips. Like Game of Thrones writers, if you're listening, and I hope you are, y'all messed it up massively. Like you thought you were all that in a bag of chips with Game of Thrones writing. You were not. You were a side of chips with some barbecue sauce drizzled on that nobody wants to eat. Okay, you created a great first season, and then you decided to take that wheel of that Jeep off road.
First season
was good of Game of Thrones.
Dude, I barely got through the first season because it was so graphic.
Okay, well,
to be honest, I only made it through one episode, and I was like, I can't with this show.
That you have to go in knowing that's going to happen. But the Jeep into the ditches over and over the next few seasons, and that last season is an absolute travesty. It is an absolute writing disaster.
I never got that far.
And it's
Right.
not worth your time.
Okay.
It is
what
it is an abomination. I have never. And what's interesting is you talk about like Battlestar Galactica. People still talk about Battlestar Galactica. People still talk about Star Trek: The Next Generation. People still talk about Cheers. They talk about all these great shows. The show they don't talk about, Game of Thrones. It is not in the cultural zeitgeist whatsoever anymore.
It went off the
died.
map. Yep.
It died because the writers had no respect for the material. They had no respect for the audience, and they didn't give a flying rat's patootie about any of it. And so they just decided to do whatever they wanted. And they're like, "Yeah, we're good, we're great, we're amazing, we're award winning." No, you're idiots, and you need to go sit in your corner and think about what you've done and get sprayed by a spray bottle.
Dear Game of Thrones writers, these opinions are subject to change for the cost of $100,000 sponsorship. Thank you.
$1 million.
This has been Rants with Aaron. Let's talk about something that makes you happy, Aaron. Northern Exposure. What a quirky show.
That's a good show, but we can't talk about Northern Exposure because there's 2 other shows we need to talk about.
Why can't we talk about Northern Exposure?
We'll talk about it at some point in the podcast.
Makes you happy. You just want to rant.
I got on my stand on my box. I got to stay in my box for a little bit, okay?
Oh my gosh.
So there's a show that I have been seeing every so often. I log into Amazon Prime. It's called 10 Star.
Okay.
It's got Tim Roth or Tim whatever, and it's set in some town with an oil company that comes in to do the oil. The first season is heavy on the politics of like, oh, the oil men are coming in and they're going to ruin the town and da, da, da. And so the character is a police chief who's from England in Canada. So it's a Canadian town. And so the oil company's coming in and they're opening up oil wells and all this other stuff. And it's an interesting subject. It's an interesting topic. It's an interesting idea. And the application is overall kind of like, okay, maybe. But there's a heavy-handedness. I'll try that again. There's a heavy-handedness in how they handle the oil companies and the politics of it. And it is very much one-sided. It's absolutely just trying to slam the oil companies for being terrible and all that stuff. And while there is truth to it in some elements, anyway. Here's the thing. The lead character is a cop from England who is an alcoholic. Here's the thing. He routinely, repeatedly, will go on benders. And no consequences. Like, he'll wake up blacked out. And there's no consequence. He doesn't get thrown off the force. He doesn't have to deal with the consequences of his actions.
I was about to like compare him to House, but no, House faces plenty of.
Yes, he goes to jail.
He does get away with a lot, but he does eventually go to jail.
Yes,
he's gotta.
Yeah.
He's gotta.
Well, and here's the
take
thing.
Therapy
with
and-
House, you have some feelings for the guy. You actually care about him.
Yeah.
In 10 Star, I made it through the first season, and I was just like, so his daughter ends up his son gets killed by someone who's trying to kill him, but he ducks, and then like.
Ooh, so like a casualty of.
Right, of the whole thing, but there's no redeeming characters in this series. I made it to season 2, and I was like, okay, we're done with that. What are we starting with now? And
Aaron just hate watches stuff.
well, and
You do.
I was hoping it was going to get better. I'm like, well, this looks like a really good cast. It had some
I've
strong
been
actors
there.
and actresses. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, this looks really good. 10 Star, cop. I was like, okay, he's an alcoholic. Show me his redemption. Show me him maybe falling off the wagon once, and then have him climb back and claw back and try to be good. It never happens. He never stops drinking, and people are willingly serving him drinks at the bar when they know he's an alcoholic, and repeatedly will end up in a hotel passed out, blackout, drunk. Like it is insane.
I am so glad you're not a counselor because.
But like
No, dude, like you would quit because like I mean this is something I struggle with too a lot, but like seeing people not change.
right.
There are going to be some people that never change.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but
Right,
that's
here's
theirs to live.
here's the thing about what the position he's in. He's never fired.
Yeah, like,
He
yeah.
repeatedly,
The not having any consequences.
like he
would send it
doesn't.
for
There's
me.
no rock bottom for him.
Yeah.
They
That's fair.
suspend him, but then he just walks back in the office and picks up his badge and takes the car keys for the truck for the sheriff's truck and just rides out.
Well, that's on them.
And he doesn't. Well, but that's the thing. It's like normal rules. Okay, if a sheriff shows up drunk to the office, and he commits some heinous thing that would get him suspended from duty and removed and have his keys taken.
Yeah.
That would be the end for him. He's now at rock bottom. He now has to either figure it out or continue to dig for the bottom of the pile that he's drinking himself into. But in this show, no one, and he does so much damage to his family. Like his daughter, who is struggling with the loss of her brother, she goes missing one night, and he ends up just going on a bender and blacking out and not trying to find her. Waking up the next morning and go, where's your daughter? Oh, I don't know. I was blacked out. And it's just like, I think my struggle is that it's so flagrant. Like the TV, like the show gives no hope. And it, again, this is an interpretation, and you can tell me I'm wrong, and you can tell me to walk out, to step away. But it feels like the show is saying, well, there's no hope for these addicts. There's no hope for this guy. This guy's not redeemable. And in some ways, yes,
some people,
it is. But there's also like the no consequences. Like he has nothing happens to him. He doesn't get he doesn't get in any kind of trouble, and at all. So it exacerbates the issue of the show makes me angry, because I'm like, why? You don't care about him. You don't care for him. You don't have any. There's no sympathy for him. It's not like, oh, like he's nursing a really big thing and he's being emotive. No, he gives no cares. Nothing. And it's like, great. And I understand that in the real world where you and I live, there are people who do that. And I've known people who have not been able to break loose of that.
Totally.
And you just go, well, I've done everything I can. You're in free fall mode. Call me when you need a parachute because I'll be here for you, but you're not listening and responding. To have it portrayed in a show where he just gets to do what the hell he wants with a gun and a sheriff's badge, and everyone just kind of just placates him. It's like, what? What is this?
That's right.
He's not a random office worker in an office and showing up half an hour late because he's had too much to drink, or showing up to work drunk in an office where he can just sleep it off in a chair. This is a sheriff of a small town in Canada. What the hell?
Maybe it's different in Canada. I don't know.
I blame Canada for most of my problems.
Oh
anyway.
my God,
Aaron,
stop!
Blame Canada is where I was going. The South Park song. So it's just, so there's apparently a season 3.
It's my face.
Don't
in the
watch
microphone.
it.
And
Aaron.
I made it through like
Aaron.
I made it through 2 episodes of season 2, and I was like, I am done.
Oh.
Dude,
Okay,
Northern Exposure said,
have-
let's talk about a good show.
I
Let's
have-
talk
I
about
got-
Northern
I
Exposure.
got one more show to talk
Oh
about.
my Lord.
Gosh.
So it's also
This
an
is my face in the microphone.
It's an Amazon show. It's called Outer Range. It's got Josh Brolin and a bunch of other actors and actresses in it. It's a science fiction kind of idea, and the idea is that there's a big old hole that's transdimensional out in his back 40 lot of his ranch.
Okay.
And there's connections, time travel, different universes, all kinds of stuff. It's really moody. It's really weird and wacky. And
I think I've seen you watch this.
yeah, the first season is very interesting. It unfolds. But there's this thing with science fiction. Either you know where you're going and you're taking us there, or it feels like you sort of know where you're going, but you're not really quite sure, so you're going to stretch it out a little bit. And it feels like with season 2 that I just finished, we're not sure where we're going. And it's like,
Is there a season 3?
they're hoping for it, I'm guessing.
Okay.
But the thing
I'm
is,
gonna be honest. Like, How I Met Your Mother felt the same way.
yeah.
Because it's like, why is it 9 seasons long to tell this story?
It shouldn't be that long of a story.
Right. Well, and this is the thing that people will tell you, like, oh, that first season, you just need to get through the first season. It's like, you know what? No, it didn't used to be like that. It used to be the seasons, they were written well, and you didn't have to, like, wait for them to figure stuff out. Schitt's Creek is the same thing. I can't make it through season 1 because all of the characters are deplorable and hateful and annoying.
Yeah.
And
I've never watched
it's
it.
a comedy. It's funny apparently, but I'm just like, I don't know. I don't care for it. The other thing is Arrested Development is kind of the same thing, where you have to really slog through that first half of the season to figure out that it's just a joke on all of them. And none of
Yeah,
them
I
are
stopped
redeemed.
watching because I
Yeah.
liked it and I hated it at the same time.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm like,
that hate wash. And the thing is, for Arrested Development, season 2 was really good, and then season 3 was just a disaster because they shot it differently, and then they had to go back and re-edit it.
Oh, God.
Because the format that they did it in that third season was such a train wreck. People were just like, "What are you doing?" So it's just that common thing of like modern television. It feels like it can't figure out its identity and what the stories it wants to tell. A lot of the reason why like shows are getting canceled is, number one, they're not finding an audience because there's so much content out there. There's so many streaming services. You know, they put out a show and they're like, oh, it's not worth our time, or whatever. And people are like, wait, we were watching that, like we were enjoying that. Why'd you take it away from
I
us?
feel like that happens to all the shows that her dad watches.
Yeah.
He'll get, what's that, the latest one that he was watching?
I'm trying to remember because it was one that I liked too, and I was like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm sorry to tell you, it ends."
They canceled it. But that's Netflix, period.
Yeah.
They're always canceling their good
or
shows.
they'll do
They
like
better not
limited
do those Stranger
series
Things.
where it could continue. It could totally continue, but
Yeah.
they just end it, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
Yeah, it's been like, so yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's been disappointing because there's been some really great movies, some really great films that have come out of this, but television shows have been a bit of a struggle to like want to keep watching because it's like I'm tired of being insulted. I'm tired of being like, what story are you telling here? And I don't have an answer for why that is or what that means, but. Yeah, no, 10 Star is not worth your time, and I won't hate watch. I won't hate watch the rest of season 2 or season 3 because it's so off the rails at this point. I'm just like, it's trying to be a comedy now. And I'm like, I'm not laughing. This is an addict who you have normalized his behavior so much over 2 seasons. I don't want to know what happens in season 3 because there's no way he gets his life straight if he's been living his life like this. Like, there's no way a miracle like, whoa, I'm clean now for like a minute and I'm great. It's like, no, that takes time. It takes effort. That takes work. That takes support. And he goes to meetings, but then he like just doesn't do what they tell him to do, and he doesn't need to go, and he doesn't care about the meetings. He's just like, whatever, I'm not doing it. Okay, well, that's really inspiring to the rest of the people who are probably struggling with this, and they're seeing someone who just continues to fail, and is okay, and people are okay with that. People celebrate his failures and promote him or give him back his job. It's like, not the greatest message that you could have put out in the world.
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. It's a thing. Okay, so I think that's all the shows I wanted to talk about.
Aaron, let's talk about one that you actually like that we've watched together.
So Northern Exposure. I can't remember if we've talked about this
I think we have.
a little
in
bit.
the past. So Northern Exposure is fun because it's set in the Alaskan town of Sicily. It's
yeah.
Yeah, it's an actual real town in Washington, where all the stuff is still there, and they just borrowed it for the show, and it's really cool. So the idea is a doctor from New York, who's from big city New York, is assigned on loan to a small town in actually he's originally assigned to
Anchorage, I think.
and they're like, well, we're all full up. We're actually overloaded, so we're sending you here to this small town in Sicily.
And they don't really tell him how small it
Yeah,
is.
they don't tell him how small it is. He gets there, it's
Fun.
maybe 500 people of that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's tiny, and so it's the northern.
He wants out. He's like, get me out of here.
but he can't because he doesn't have to sign a contract, and he's stuck there for years.
Oh, years.
So like a couple years.
Yep.
So it's the idea of Northern Exposure is this guy from the East Coast is coming to the northern, like Alpine Alaskan territories, small town, similar to kind of the Fort Morgan experience.
There are the quirkiest, funniest characters in this town. Every one of them is really interesting.
Yeah. It's a fun show. It is, and it's a show that stands up to this day. Like, there's a couple of elements where it's just like, woo, we went there. Okay. You have to realize the show was done and produced in the 90s. So there's going to be some 90s stuff where you're like, But it's significantly intelligent. Like, it's
Oh my gosh, like there's this guy who does the radio station, and he's like very philosophical, and but also like he can marry you. I don't remember the word is for that.
He's clergy.
He's clergy.
Member of the clergy.
But he's just kind of spiritual, but he's also like a womanizer. He lives in a trailer, and there's a guy in town who decides to adopt him as his son because he's somebody. And that guy to me is the most interesting. His eyes get real big when he looks at you, and he's mad because you're not reading his paper that talks about the amount of salmon in the lake over the past month or something. It's so quirky. It's so funny.
It's on Amazon. I don't know
Okay,
how
I was
long
gonna
it'll be
ask.
up there.
Okay.
It's got a great soundtrack.
There's like a girl that like is his landlord, and all of her boyfriends have died.
Yes.
I mean, she just killed them. They just like
Are you sure? No. I'm just kidding.
I mean, but that's the joke. They're like, did you kill it? But like one, like I think fell off a cliff, and one like was sitting in the forest and a satellite fell on him.
Yeah.
That was a weird episode.
It was.
Wow.
So the music in the show, the reason why the show hasn't been released before streaming wise is because the soundtrack to the show, there's a lot of like recognizable music or like really deep music catalog in the show, and so they like Amazon was able to purchase and finance the cost of the soundtrack licensing, so the music is retained, in the streaming on Amazon. It's a really cool show. It runs about 6 or 7 seasons, I think.
If you ever need like a good laugh, it's a great one to go to.
Yeah, Northern Exposure.
And it's literally 1990s when it.
Yep. So it's one of those 90s TV shows, and it's got a quirky little theme song, and I think you'll really enjoy it and get a kick out of it. So if you're listening to the program right now and you're like, man, I need a show to watch, Northern Exposure on Amazon is the place to be.
Very quirky. My favorites are the dream sequences.
Yeah.
And you don't always realize it's a dream at first. I also like the Hermit.
Yes. It's
The Hermit who's a master chef but hates everyone.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a lot of
They
fun.
look interesting. Like
They are every
And
character
you'll
is
probably
interesting.
recognize some of the guest stars when they come in and they act.
Well, like the guy I told you about who's like the radio star who's on there all the time. He is the lead in My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
I knew he looked familiar. Okay,
That's him.
I'm like he's young.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at that baby face.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
He's actually in the show that I've been watching, but I don't know if I can say the name of it on here.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Blank in the City.
Blank in the City.
Oh, right.
Yeah, okay. That's an old school classic.
I've been rewatching that. That's
I never got into it. I never watched that show.
I didn't before either, and then now I'm like hooked. So
Huh.
I don't know.
Maybe it's an age thing. Maybe
Maybe.
it's a generational thing. Who
Yeah.
knows? All right. Well, is there anything else we wanted to talk about before we close out this 50th
You
episode?
didn't want to bring up reindeer?
Okay, I'll talk about it really, really fast because I did really get into it. I didn't think I was. Baby Reindeer, I don't know if you guys heard about it.
I've heard of
No.
this.
It's very dark, I'm not going to lie. But it's about a British comedian, Richard God. He wrote it. He's in it.
Okay.
It's about his life trauma
can't
of
imagine
becoming.
him doing
I
this.
know, it's crazy. It's about his life trauma of becoming a comedian. He literally gets stalked.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know how to tiptoe around this other one.
Or just-
This
or
lady
just
just
die.
abuses him.
He gets abused by someone in the industry.
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm really proud of. I know he's probably not listening to this, but I'm really proud of him for writing it and reliving his own trauma to show to the world because
Right.
he literally plays himself, and
Yeah.
I know that had to be hard, but it is. If you want something deep to watch,
Yeah.
it is really good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got a couple of movies that you guys will be surprised that they're coming out with.
Okay.
Sequels of Who in the Heck Asked for This?
Okay.
Oh gosh,
Happy Gilmore 2
Yeah, I
has been
saw that.
greenlit by
Really?
Netflix.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's going to have Adam Sandler in it.
Yep.
What was the other one? Crap.
I think I'll go with the one I know. So Beverly Hills Axel Foley is coming to Netflix in June. The fourth in the Beverly Hills Cop series is coming.
What?
Yes, and it looks amazing.
Okay.
The trailer, as I've watched it several times this week and last week since it came out, and it is just a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, I remember.
Okay.
Dumb and Dumber.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Another one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Them. Oh gosh, and they're older now.
Yeah, they are.
So I'm wondering, like, how's that going to work?
It's gonna be in a nursing home or something. Is that? That's gonna be my guess. We'll see if I'm right.
You know, why do we gotta keep making these movies?
Oh, God, I'm about choked.
Why? Like, Dumb and Dumber is one of the greatest films of all time. It is a classic. Yeah.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah, so you're telling me. See? Yeah. It's a fantastic little time capsule of a movie. Everything after that.
But this will have Jim Carrey and I always forget.
Yeah, I don't have the
Yeah, I
original
forget his
guys.
name too.
But that doesn't mean. Okay.
Because the Dumb and Dumber or whatever had like random. I didn't like that one at all because it was just
Yeah.
random to me.
Well, didn't they
Right.
do another sequel with Jim Carrey and what's his bucket in it?
I think it's
again?
just the two movies.
Yeah, my understanding is
Googling it.
I don't know.
Dumb and Dumber and then Dumb and Dumber.
I got it first.
I thought there was another one. Dumb and Dumber. I thought there was a Dumb and like,
It's like a Dumber and Dumber or something.
but that
Yeah.
was with different actors.
Yeah, that was them as like kids or teenagers or.
Dumb and Dumber 2.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, there are
There
three.
was a third.
And the 2 is spelled wrong.
Yeah.
It's spelled T-O.
Yeah. So that
Of
happened.
course.
That
Yeah.
happened. That happened in
I think it's got the car though.
2014.
Yeah.
I
sounds
never
about
watched
right.
that one.
It's been 10 years.
I didn't.
Why we need another one? I don't know. Well, and it's also like all the old characters and movies are coming back again, and we can't figure it out. We can't make a new movie. We can't make a new story.
Even me and some of the students on this last week were talking about that. They even agree, like, why do we keep redoing all these movies? Like, let's
See,
have
that
some new
says
content.
something when you have the teenagers being like, what?
Yeah.
No, I gotta say, like, to defend my boys here, the new Bad Boy movie looks like it'll be good. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, Bad Boys.
I know what it is. Thank you.
It looks like it.
Cool.
It looks like it'll be.
Okay.
The stare from Phil was like, "Do you know what I'm talking?"
Yeah, I was like,
You know who Will
Are you
Smith
picking
is
up
there?
on what I'm laying down? I think my issue is Will Smith in that piece. Is
yeah.
like he's a complicated figure still.
Yeah.
Like that moment where he hit Chris Rock, where he physically assaulted Chris Rock,
Yeah.
is still fresh in my memory of like. And not only that, but
All the stuff his wife says.
between him, the conversations between him and his wife on a podcast, and the revelations and the results, and just the
It's
absolute
like, we don't need to know this, people. Like,
right. Well, and the amount of like trickery that was played to the public
Yeah.
about the relationship and when and where they were and what they were doing and how it was working, and it's like this was just a lie. You lied to all of us.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't need to celebrate you, Mr. Smith. I need you to like. Not do some stuff for a while or do something else. Do something else, but I don't know. I mean, I love the Bad Boy series. I love that the original is a classic.
Yeah.
Like, and the sequel's not too bad either. But it's interesting because you've got Axel Foley, which is Eddie Murphy, him coming back, but then you've got Bad Boys, which is Martin Lawrence and Will Smith back.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of the retreading, which. Maybe this is what we're going to do for the rest of our time on Earth. We're just going to retread these old movies. We're going to have, Wild Wild West 4 coming out soon enough. That's
Why? The first one was terrible.
Yeah, and actually, Will Smith later regretted making.
We
that
got a
movie.
good song
That's
out of it.
good.
Yeah, Wild
there was
Wild
some-
West.
Yeah, the song's good. I'll give you that.
Look at Wild Wild West. Yeah, it's a banger. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Oh, another sidetrack thing. Sorry. Ryan Reynolds,
Yes.
Deadpool.
Yes.
Came
Right.
out on Twitter. He's like, if you guys are coming into this Deadpool movie expecting a spectacular story, don't even do it. He's like, if you want to see me and Hugh Jackman beat the crap out of each other for a good hour and a half and turn your brain off, this movie is for you. I just love how
He's so unpretentious. He's just like, this is how it is, people.
yeah, I love
Meh.
Ryan Reynolds. He's just
Well, and he also just had, Imaginary Friends just come out, too.
yeah.
Which
Yeah.
reviews for that
If-
were not great.
Aw.
Really? All the kids that went to see it said it was
So that's the thing. I think you have the critics, then you have the actual audience.
Because, like, it was Super Mario Brothers. I have elementary kids who still love Peaches.
I hate that
Peaches,
movie. for the-
I love the
Peaches,
movie.
peaches,
I hate the
peaches.
song, and I love Jack Black. So
I know the kids love Jack Black, too.
I turned on the movie. I hated it.
Like, I have a video where you play that song on this thing called Boom Whackers, and I did it a couple weeks ago, and they went nuts. They were like, Peaches!
what about it did you hate? Was it the voices or
It was voices. It wasn't Mario. It was Chris Pratt playing not playing a Mario character, and that was a lot of the issue I think with a lot of critics. It was like you've got an Italian plumber with not an Italian actor or an Italian voice like this. It is out of place, and the storyline. And again, I'm not the audience. It was made for kids.
Hey,
Whatever.
kids loved it, for a record.
But the storyline was so just like dumb, and I hated the Peaches song. It was so
I didn't
nonsensical.
either.
I hated it. I was like, look, you had millions and millions of dollars to give writers and lyricists the ability to create an iconic song. Now, mind you, what I'm about to bring up is probably nonsensical, but like Everything Is Awesome from the Lego Movie. That song was a banger.
Yeah, that was.
Everything
Everything is awesome.
To this day, you sing it like it's like and I'll skip the song when it comes up on my radio on the car.
Yeah, you do.
Like, but it's a banger. Like it's a.
Then why do you skip it?
Because I hate it.
You just said you liked it.
I like.
But
it
you
to the-
skip it.
But it was creative enough. Like it was done in a way that's like, okay, this is. They thought through the lyrics, like they put it to the scene.
Yeah.
Like it had a point in the movie. Peaches has no other reason to exist other than for Jack Black to vamp as King Koopa.
yeah.
That's it.
Peace Bowser, right? Or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Or
sorry,
Bowser,
but
sorry.
I think Bowser's just an idiot anyway, so
Yeah.
that I think it's perfect.
It just.
I mean, to me, if kids are still singing it a year later, it's a hit.
I just sing it to annoy Phil mainly.
I'll send you the Boom Whacker
Okay,
video.
cool. Because I think it's ironic that how much he loves Jack Black, but he hates that song. So I sing it.
I love Tenacious D. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen the video of him doing Peaches though? That might help you.
Yes. I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it in front of Mr. Miyamoto, and I wanted to smack him.
Yeah.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Yeah.
Like Mr. Miyamoto is like talking on stage, and you got Jack Black behind him just twerking. Like, dude, have some respect. This is the legend here.
It's Jack Black. He never takes himself seriously.
I know, and
He's-
He's a pretty good dancer. Let's talk
Here's-
about his pirouettes for a
here's-
second.
Here's the thing about Jack Black, though. He needs to, at some point, and I know this is going to sound really nonsensical, and I don't really care. At some point, he needs to grow up a little bit.
he has kids.
Yeah, he needs to get out of this like infantile, like I'm a teenager. No, Jack, you're 50. Get over yourself.
I just see some of the stuff he does, and I'm like, I look at him, and I'm pictured like he's not much smaller or bigger than me. Like
Yeah.
we're built the same size.
Yeah.
You're
And I'm
taller.
like, dude, I would blow a spleen if I did any of the stuff you're doing.
Yeah,
Blow a spleen.
Yeah.
Blow a spleen.
Yeah.
that's a new one.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Blow a spleen.
Break my spleen.
Here on Nerds by Screenlight, we're blowing spleens. We're spleening spleens.
Yeah.
We're splooting. I don't know.
I have no idea. You're the English teacher.
Splurting.
Yes, whatever. Moving on. All right. Anything else that we need to talk about before we close this insanely wacky-do episode of
No.
It's very wacky, dude.
I will say it was refreshing after like not seeing you guys for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been too long.
It has been too long. We will be back to recording.
We had some
regular-
crazy like life events
Yeah,
going on.
We've been back and forth, in and out again, but we're here again once more. Like Bilbo Baggins, we come back to the Shire.
There and back again.
There and back again. That was what I was trying.
Yeah,
as
there and
aim-
back again.
Here to help.
I was aiming for it, but I didn't. I missed the mark by like.
This is
lot.
but this is why you have me. I help.
Yes, you.
I'm here to help.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, this has been There's My Screenlight episode 50. Next week, I think we're doing Grave of the Fireflies.
I don't see why we can't unless if something sad happens.
Fingers crossed.
See, we can't do Grave of the Fireflies if we're having a bad week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the rule we
And May
set.
was like a rough month, and we can't
Yeah.
do it right now.
So, and I don't actually know if we can review this for the podcast, but since the new Axel Foley Beverly Hills Cop is coming out, we might want to watch the Beverly Hills Cop series. But we'll have to see. The content may or may not be fully appropriate for our audience. But
well, we can also do
We can do Godzilla.
-1.
Oh yeah.
Well, Godzilla -1 is a good idea because you said it's on
It's on
Netflix
Netflix
now.
Okay, let's shoot
So.
for that next week, and then
Fireflies or
I let maybe do both because if you guys
I don't
watch
know
it.
if we should do both.
Okay.
Well, okay,
I
so
think
we start with the.
Fireflies needs its own episode.
So do we start more intense, or do we do Godzilla -1 as like a warm up?
That's it.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you'll find out when we find out, audience. When you find out on the next episode.
It'll be a surprise.
It's
Yes.
a surprise. So did you ever see The Rat Race, the movie with Mr. Bean and all those other?
I did, and I
Yeah.
love
It's a
it.
race,
Yes,
it's a race,
someone
it's a
else.
race. So it's a
I
race.
found
It's
a
a race.
coin. I got the coin.
Hey,
This
we're-
is nothing but a slap in the face. This is nothing.
Oh my
This is
God.
nothing. This is nothing
It's
but
a-
a big rat race.
It's a wacky movie.
It's so good. Okay, we should do review that one. Because so you haven't seen it.
I've never seen
And
it.
it's been a long time
God.
since I've
Okay,
seen
so
it.
here's
Good-
what we will need to do. So Rat Race is actually a remake of a movie called It's a Mad World.
Oh,
Which I've never
AVGN's
seen.
favorite movie, by the way.
Yeah. So we'll put those on we'll probably do a double feature of It's a Mad World combined with the Rat Race.
Is Mad World black and white? Because
No,
Zoe.
it's color.
Okay. Because I felt like Zoe should be warned if it was black and white.
No, it's color.
Okay.
It's another wacky movie. So we'll do Grave of the Fireflies next week. We'll do a double feature with our Mad and race. It's a race thing.
Rat race.
Rat Race.
Rat race.
And Godzilla -1. Finally.
All right. So
Finally.
we got it on the list. We're gonna make it happen.
'Kay.
My name is Aaron,
My name's Vicki.
I am Phil.
And I'm Zoe.
and this has been Nerds by Screenlight. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was everything everywhere all at once.
The raspberry flapovers will be out in a moment. The kitchen is closed.
You've been listening
to the Nerds by Screenlight podcast, presented by Create at Morgan Productions, located in Fort Morgan, Colorado, USA. For more information on our production house, other podcasts hosted here, and further details, please visit www.createatmorgan.org. You can find us on Twitter at the handle CreateAtMorgan. Create at Morgan is a school club at Lincoln High School, our alternative education campus in Morgan County. Our sponsor is Aaron DeLay, the language arts teacher at Lincoln. Send any feedback to adelayedteacher@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our podcast.